Oh boy, I hope these pre-intro intros do not become too much of a habit for me. Hey everyone, before we get to this week's show, I want to share with you some news that actually happened last week, but I really didn't want to sully the fun, good time vibes of the Roxanne oral auditions episode, so I kind of withheld the information from you all for an extra week. I apologize about that, kind of. I am currently driving back from Pittsburgh earlier than I expected. Paige and I have broken up. I don't want to get into too many details about it. I want to respect her privacy. So I don't want to get into too many of the particulars of what happened and who said what. And for now, I'd really like to keep that story to ourselves. But man, it's it hitting me hard. She's my girl, or was my girl. The breakup, which was pretty much an all day long breakup. So it's 9:45 at night right now, and I am just emotionally drained. And I thought I'd give you all my last ounces of feeling before I find myself in a bed and going limp. I don't know. It's the issue that no one's mad at the other one. There wasn't an inciting incident that caused us to have to break up. No one did like a thing. Is basically mutually agreed upon amidst a lot of tears. And it's an issue that's come up between us over and over again. At least during this year. I think about non-monogamy, polyamory, whatever you want to call it, or whichever one of those things you fall under. Sometimes I'm still not sure what it is I feel and how I love or how I do or what's real, what's bullshit. I'm really worried. Like, am I non-monogamous, or do I just want to be able to bang other people because like I'm afraid to commit? Or sometimes I can't tell, like, am I being true to myself or am I being selfish? It's like, have I found this ideology that I can grasp onto as a fantastic excuse to go bang other people under the guise of morality? Or is this just truly how I am and how I'm more oriented towards a non-traditional relationship model? And if so, is that gonna make it harder for someone to love me? Or am I just a selfish son of a bitch? I really don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a piece of shit. Maybe I am just, as much as I hate your average typical dude bro and your guy who likes to bang mad bitches and high five his friends, marking down notches on his bedpost, although I don't know who the fuck marks down notches on bedposts. I've never seen this before, heard dudes talk about this, but it's a phrase. As much as I talk shit about that, like, am I one of them? Am I one of them, but I just read a couple more books? Am I just completely full of shit? I mean, if you listen to me, I hope you've listened long enough to realize I am no relationship expert. Oh, Jesus Christ. People email me sometimes asking for my opinion, or they ask for advice, and I'm like, look, you asking is all that qualifies me to give advice. I am not an expert by any means. And for anyone who thought that, I'm sorry to smash your reality, but I'm not. I'm just a comedian with a fuck show. Like, what if I am just that asshole who's trying to bag a bunch of chicks and wants to just sling my dick wherever I'm allowed to? And I mean, one of my earliest fears was, am I keeping Paige in a situation she doesn't want to be in, or I'm like making her agree to non-monogamy against her? Like, that's the big fear, is having them agree to that, and also not knowing, having someone quietly and sadly accept terms because they love that person, not because that's something they enthusiastically want to do too. And as a beautiful woman once told me, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So there's that fear. It's like I don't want someone in it, because I've been in that scenario. That's that's sort of what caused this podcast to ever happen. Was these women I would date, the ones that I fell for, the ones that I wanted to date seriously, which I thought meant being exclusive with. I thought that's what that meant. I thought being exclusive meant you were serious. These women, they wouldn't be exclusive with me. They wouldn't date me seriously. And my choice was to stop seeing them entirely, or to accept the lower position of a fuck buddy. Fuck buddy who, like, I also sometimes share my feelings with. So I never want someone to be in that position. I don't want someone to sadly accept being with me under painful circumstances just because they love me. Because I know how badly that fucked me up. I'm not saying I'm some sort of poly detractor. It's just it's a breakup like this that makes me have to do a check-in. Like, could I do monogamy? I don't know. I did it once. I did it for 14 months, and then like a very brief 3-month stint or 2-month stint in college that y'all don't really know much about yet. It's like, could I do it? Yes, I'm very good at rules. Like, if I agreed to be monogamous with someone, I will do it. Will I be happy that way? Is that the way I want to live my life? I don't think so. But if it comes at the cost of never knowing love, like I've been experiencing for the last 21 months or so, then that would be a difficult decision. I told Paige this morning, I told her my biggest fear was not losing her. My biggest fear was her staying in a situation that made her unhappy with me. But her not standing up for herself to demand what she wanted or to leave. That was my big fear. Like, I'd be sad. I am sad. I'm sad. I've been crying all day. No longer having her be mine, so to speak. Poly people, don't jump on the use of language, please. And I know I'm going to experience love again. I'm not going to get overly dramatic and be like, oh my God, I don't know. Like, will anyone ever love me ever again? I wonder if I'm going to get pulled. Nope, that's not a cop. Okay, cool. Last thing I need to do is get pulled over during a breakup day. I know I'll experience love again. I'm not so naive or whatever to think, oh my gosh, it's never going to happen. And I know someone will love me again one day. But I don't know. This is the first time I got to experience like adult love and someone loving me. And I don't know. I'm worried, like, what if no one ever loves me the way this girl loves me? Because she loves me a whole lot. And she's a fantastic girlfriend. And I really hope I'm not wrong about who I am as a person, because if I'm wrong and I lose her, wow, that would doubly suck. So, anyways, no need to send me breakup presents because when Paige and I had our 10-day breakup back in March, a lot of you were very kind and mailed me stuff, and that was super nice of you. But I mean, let's just count those as the breakup gifts. No need to send more. Okay. So, anyways, now you know, and now let's move forward. Okay, we're gonna have a good show with whoever is on the podcast this week. I have no idea yet because I have not recorded it yet. But I'm sure it's a fantastic episode, and I hope you all enjoy it. And I'm gonna cut to the commercial break. And then when we come back, I'm going to do an intro in the then present, which is my future, where I will hopefully be a bit more over it, less crying, less devastated, and have a good show. So, look, I thank you, as always, for downloading. Thank you for tuning in to me every week. And I love you all. I love you all. Except Todd a little bit because he voted for Trump. But otherwise, I love you all so much. Thanks for listening. The Man Whore Podcast is sponsored this week by Motor Bunny, the Ride on Top vibrator. Get $50 off a Motor Bunny starter kit at motorbunny.com by entering the code MANWHORE at checkout. The Man Whore Podcast is brought to you by mybookie.ag. Get a 100% deposit bonus for all your online gambling with promo code MANWHORE at mybookie.ag. Now let's get to the show.
Welcome to the Man Whore Podcast.
Shout out to the Anthony Scaracucci's, Kelly Cuntaways, and Paul Manafucks. Enjoy prison one day. This is Billy Procida, and you are listening to the Man Whore Podcast. What is up, everyone? If my voice sounds a little raspy, a little out of it, it's because, well, my body's a little out of it. I gotta start resting up. I got Man Whore Con coming up soon. All right, if you are new to my program, this is a podcast where I talk to women I've hooked up with about sex, dating, and why we didn't work out. However, this week's special guest is not one of my former flames. No, I have got on fellow comedian David Piccolomini, who is also a sex and dating podcaster, and who you heard last week on the oral auditions. He was suitor number 3. I'm sure you'll recognize his voice in a little bit, but first, show dates, people, show dates. All right, tomorrow, September 28th, I'm going to be in Ithaca, New York, upstate. I'll be at the Barbershop at 8 o'clock as part of the Finger Lakes Comedy Festival. Then, obviously, the big important date, October 8th, is the Man Whore Podcast live show at the People's Improv Theater here in New York City. Tickets are available at manwhorepod.com/live. Makes for a great date night, and it's going to be me and 4 of my exes on stage getting into the dirty deets about us, our sex lives, and why we didn't work out. Plus some fun sex toy giveaways and games. It's going to be a really fun night. If you live in the greater New York City area, if there's ever been a show to come to, if there's ever been a thing I've promoted, this is the thing. October 8th. I want to pack out that room with Man Whore Podcast fans. I really want to see you there. Please come through for me on this one. This is like the one thing I really, really need my New Yorkers to come on out to. And for more information on my upcoming comedy shows, you can go to manwhorepod.com/comedy. Today, September 27th, if you are listening to this on the day it comes out, we have another Fan Whore Facebook Live Hangout at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to come hang out on the Facebook Live with your fellow listeners and with myself, have a fun conversation, find out some behind-the-scenes deets, go to the Man Whore Podcast fan page, click the like button, and show up at 3 o'clock. And if you missed the Facebook Live Hangout, don't worry. The video will be up all month, and you can check it out, and you can still make comments. I'll still respond to your comments after the fact, and it'll be all good. Oh man, I got body painted this weekend, and you know what? It's something I really needed. I have been, it's maybe 10 days after the breakup. I'm still feeling, down about it. As many of you know, I streamed the body painting session on the Man Whore Podcast fan page, and then when we took off my underwear and it became a naked body painting session, we streamed that on Patreon. Which you can still watch that video if you are pledged for at least $5. This is my third time getting body painted, and it just, when you're in that full paint, you feel like a different person. You feel like a character almost. And I got painted for 6 hours, and then I wore the paint for maybe another 3 or 4 hours before I finally took a shower and took it off. For that time, I was almost not Billy Procida. And I was almost not a guy reeling from a breakup. I was this thing, oh my gosh, go to any of my social media accounts and you'll see the pictures. Holy shit, I looked so fucking cool. They did this like design where the black lines like creating muscle patterns on me, but then they used the colors of the various chakra. So like my cock area was all like a bright red, but like my head was blue and my heart was green and my belly was yellow and weighed more than I wanted to at the moment. But like I didn't care. I didn't feel fat while I was getting painted. It's like the only time I truly forgot that I feel tubby. When I looked in the mirror at what they turned me into, I felt like a superhero. Honestly, I felt more like a woodland creature. I could have played Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream in the getup they had me as. It was amazing, and the face paint was amazing. And they put this like fun glittery stuff in my hair. It was the balls, and they painted my balls, and we also had a really fun photo shoot. So it was really cool. Go to the Manor Podcast Facebook page, check out the videos. We have some really cool conversations while they're painting me, and if you want to see my peen, if you want to see it truly all hang out, go pledge $5 at patreon.com/manwhorepodcast, and you can watch that 2-hour video up there. And if you want to know who the artists are, if you want to check out their artwork, they're fantastic body painters. I'll have their Instagram handles in the show notes, but their names are Lenore Koppelman and Jessica Mello. They are fantastic and insanely talented because they turned my schlubbiness into a sexy piece of art. And I am so grateful that I had that opportunity to do that. Let's get to some of your emails. I like reading your emails. One of the things I hate about being on my phone is when I'm constantly refreshing every app, everything, and I just switch from Facebook to email to Twitter to Instagram, Facebook to email to Twitter to Instagram. And I'm like, oh shit, it's been 3 hours. Hate that part. My favorite part of being on my phone is getting emails from you. Checking my emails and be like, oh my God, an email. Or waking up and be like, oh, we got some emails. Like, this is great. So I love getting these. They really do brighten up my day. Got a whole lot of stuff to say. I mean, like, I got reactions from last week's oral auditions episode. Like, I got this email just like 3 hours ago. And the subject line is, your show fucking rocks. And it says, my girlfriend and I randomly discovered your podcast and listened to your oral sex audition episode on a long drive. We laughed so fucking hard. Big fans now. Signed Kyla and Jola. And thank you, Kyla and Jola, for writing in, because that makes me feel all nice and special and warm and fuzzy. So this email did not make me feel warm and fuzzy at first. But before you get super angry at the guy, he redeems himself. The subject line is Team BJ2. This guy, Matthew, writes, where were you in the porno? I literally did not see you. Also, how come you never posed nude? This is, by the way, after I've been, I don't even know, for weeks telling people that I was going to stream myself naked getting body painted, literally posing nude. But this guy chooses to ignore that fact. I told him that I'm in there, but you can't really see me there. I told him I don't pose nude because I'm a comedian and a podcaster, and I am not a porn star nor a model. It's a very simple answer. Then there's some back and forth, and he continues, do you ever video record any of your sessions to post? Or like your own porn videos? And I'm like, my sessions? Use your words, sir. Because I was like, I don't know what you mean. He says, okay, words are hard to type when people are moaning in my ear. So, do you ever record yourself with cameras when jerking off or having sex or getting blowjobs to share or post? And then I repeated to him, no, I am not a porn star. I'm a comedian and podcaster. Now, I'm gonna redeem this guy and say he pledged $10 on Patreon after I called him out on his bullshit. So we're not going to be mad at this guy. But I want to point out that this is not the first time this type of behavior has happened. And it's not only men. I've had people say like, hey, why don't you pose nude? Where can I see you naked? But it's like, that's not what I do. I am a podcaster. I talk about sex. I have some fun sex, but I am not a porn star. And this is one of the emails I sent to the guy in our many back and forth. I said, I would say this. If you said that to a female comedian podcaster, hey, do you ever pose naked? How would that play out? Is that appropriate? I was polite in the beginning and saying there's an opportunity to see me naked on the body painting live stream on Patreon. But to ask a non-porn star entertainer if they post some free porn, it's just not appropriate. And it's not appropriate because that's not what I do. To reach out to a porn star, say, hey, where can I see you naked? They can give you links. They'll be like, yeah, here you go. And then you can say, do you ever post free porn? And they can say, some will say no, and some will say, you can see some on Twitter. But that's because that's what they do. That's not what I do. Just keep that in mind, everybody. Now, this next part, these next emails, these are multiple emails from different people in an insane movie-esque connection that I am just fucking in love with. Okay. This adventure starts on Reddit, where I posted the link to the Oral Sex Auditions podcast from last week, episode 180, right? I get a message from some random guy. It's titled, If You Do This in LA. The message says, I'm very game, not a sex god, but I've been called a pussy wizard. Now, my initial reaction is similar to the guy we just talked about, Matt, where this is an unsolicited asking for me to help them with some sort of sexual favor. So I was like, excuse me, but did I put an ad out to do this in LA? He's like, no, I don't think you did. I'm like, great, cool. Cause like if I didn't put an ad out in LA, it means I'm not doing it in LA. And if I do one in LA, you will see a post for it. And that is the time to apply. Not to ask me to set you up with a woman to eat out for no reason. I then separately, unrelated, get an email from a woman named, we're going to call her Anonymous as fuck. She writes, the subject line is the oral sex auditions. She writes, Dear man whore, I just listened to the oral sex auditions and I was compelled to write to you. Number one, loved the podcast, so thank you. Number two, and the reason I'm writing, should you do this in Los Angeles, I have a man I would like to recommend. My friends and I nickname him the Pussy Wizard for obvious reasons. Would be happy to enlighten you more should this be something you want to entertain. I would even suggest having this one guy pair up with 5 different women to see if they all have a mind-blowing experience. Your newest fan, Anonymous AF. One of the things I responded to her, I'm not going to read all the emails from the back and forth, but I said, I have a very odd feeling that your friend already messaged me on Reddit. But by the way, I've thought about doing the reverse, having one man eat out 5 different women and having them compare. But in my mind, I always assumed it would be me acting as the tongue in question. It is my podcast after all. So she emails me recommending this Pussy Wizard. So then I go back to Pussy Wizard on Reddit and I say, hey, do you have a friend named Emily? He's like, I do indeed. We were chatting about your show this morning and we had met via Tinder on a pussy eating specific profile. The profile came out of encouragement from another one of my lady friends. I was like, holy shit, your friend emailed me to recommend you to me for other women. So that was wild. And then, again, separately from all of this, a second woman emailed me Subject line, love the oral sex auditions. She says, hey, Billy, I just listened to the new episode yesterday, and it was my absolute favorite ever. Just like Roxanne, I'm not having satisfying sex, although unlike Roxanne, I have zero options. Haven't ever really had any. Frustrating. So when I tapped into this episode, I lost my mind. It was a fantastic idea on your part. I've already told 3 friends that somebody better figure something out for me so I can live my best life for at least a night. I also loved that you included the audio so hot. That was actually my favorite part. Can you come to Los Angeles and do this too? Thanks for a great episode, Crystal. Whoa. Los Angeles? Need someone to eat her out? Separately from that, Los Angeles wants to eat people out? Third person corroborating the pussy wizardness of this guy? I mean, I think we have a match. Look, I did not get into the sex podcasting game to play matchmaker. However, this seemed like an obvious fit. So after asking making each of the 2 people aware that something was going on, I asked if they wanted me to connect them. So I did. So I told them, look, this guy's been accused of being a pussy wizard. I say drop him in your snatch, and if he floats, he's a witch. And I told him to be nice because apparently she has allegedly 0 options in the second biggest city in the country. So I don't know what that's about, but should they bang each other out, I will be getting a story back. I will be getting a report, and I will certainly share that with you people. So look at that, the Man Whore Podcast, matching tongues with twats. Wonderful, wonderful work. We're just doing the Lord's work here at the Man Whore Podcast. No big deal. Oh man. Let's see. We're gonna skip that because look, the intro is already getting plenty long. I do want to give an oral sex auditions update. If you remember from last week's episode, Roxanne wanted to meet 4 of the 5 guys. 3 of those 4 guys wanted to meet up with her, so I gave her their contact info. Chris, remember the guy who he was last? He didn't actually go down on her because they just ended up talking, and they really hit it off personality-wise. So they met up, I believe, and just, nothing really happened again. She said that she just did not feel some sort of sexual chemistry. Then this week's guest, David, I gave them contact info, but I don't think anything really panned out there either. However, suitor number 1, Porno Jim. Oh, wow. The winner. He has been cast in the role of having sex with my friend Roxanne. Yay! And I ended up recording a bonus episode with Porno Jim for my $5 and up members on Patreon. That episode will come out tomorrow. But right now, I wanted to give y'all a little teaser, a little taste, a little more of me with Porno Jim, talking a little bit about him and Roxanne.
I've been trying to keep track. I actually have been with 151 women now, and so
all sex acts or penis and vagina or what?
Oh, those are women who I've had penis and vagina sex with,
okay,
at least once, and so in that time I've been trying to develop my skills, and in that way I've actually gotten good. I've also, when I was 17, before I actually had any dates, I actually read a book called Originalism, and it was a book with no pictures that described for many, many, many dozens of pages exactly how one goes down on a woman. So I had a lot of grounding in that, along with an enormous amount of written pornography, and between those things I had a really good understanding of before I'd actually gotten close to a vagina. And then when I started doing that, by the 5th or 6th woman I was going out with, I kind of had got a clue about it. And now, obviously, many, 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 I don't know, 30, whatever years later, I've had a lot of practice.
Wait, so you went out and searched for, how old were you when you found this book?
Oh, well, I'd been watching and reading pornography since I was 11.
Sure. But
the book Originalism I got when I was 17.
And you're seeking that out because you were like, I want to be better.
Oh, I didn't know that book existed. No one knows that book exists. It's a very rare book. I found it at a bookstore. And I said, I got to read this. And so I still have it, probably. It's here somewhere.
Amazing. And so how long do you think it took for you to become a connoisseur?
Well, a connoisseur is someone who appreciates the good and qualities things that's approached to him.
Look, don't fact check my vocab.
So I wouldn't say I'm a connoisseur of vaginas. I find the ones that like me, and I like them back. But the fact is, how did I get to be skilled at this particular thing? I decided early on that I was not cute enough or interesting enough or rich enough to not be good in bed. So I was going to be good at that. Plus, I really wanted people to have sex with me forever. And I'd been hearing how people who get married in long-term relationships stop having sex. And I was like, well, they won't want to stop having sex with me if I'm good at it.
It'll be real good.
So I decided to get good at it. And this is way before I was Porno Jim. That didn't happen until almost 20 years ago. But by then I was starting to go and date a lot of people. And I would date 3-4 people at a time. And sometimes it would get serious and sometimes it wouldn't. But I was always dating a lot of people. And that eventually led to me understanding that I was polyamorous. I was interested in having multiple relationships. And if you have multiple relationships, you got to be good at sex, because otherwise, why do they keep dating you?
Yeah, you don't want to disappoint multiple women at once.
That's what I'm saying.
Most
have
of us
4 or 5 women piss at you at the same time? That's too much pressure on my brain.
Amazing. And so at Roxanne's place, what were your feelings going into it? Because you had never done anything like this before, right?
No, I never actually met anybody blind and then just had sex with. I'd met people at sex parties where I didn't know them, and so I just met them at a sex party. But even there, you get to talk for 5 minutes, you meet their husband, you do basic things like that. Here, I was just literally going to a room where I'd never seen a picture or any understanding of what this woman looked like. I didn't know what she was going to like. And like I mentioned on the podcast, if she's not finding me attractive, it doesn't matter how good I am. It's not going to work, right?
You think there's no such thing as some sort of magic finger click that's gonna make it not matter what you look like?
I guess I'm not that good. I'm not magic. I'm just skilled.
I don't know. Roxanne described you as pretty magical.
Well, for Roxanne, my stuff really worked because she finds me attractive, so it worked out really nicely. But if I happen to have, I don't know, let's say she didn't like beards, and you have a beard, and I don't have a beard. If she didn't like beards and I had one, that would be it. Or quite the opposite. If she really liked beards and I didn't have one, my whole experience wouldn't have been the same for her. But it worked out really nicely. And like I said, we've still been dating, so she still finds me attractive.
Yeah. So if you would like to hear the entire half-hour bonus episode with Porno Jim, head on over to patreon.com/manwhorepodcast and pledge at least $5. That will give you access not only to that bonus episode, which comes out tomorrow, but it will give you access to dozens and dozens of additional bonus episodes. And before we get to this week's guest, David Piccolomini, a.k.a. Suitor Number 3 from last week, I just wanted to tell y'all where I've been, because I did a couple really fun podcasts that I want to tell y'all about really, really quickly. I promise. I was on Keith and the Girl. It happened to be 2 days after the breakup. Breakup was on a Saturday. We recorded on a Monday. So I was a little raw, but it was the... And they really went after me, like in a fun, loving way. But there are a lot of jokes at my expense, but I really needed it. And it was definitely a beginning of my recovery process. I think the most I'm going to talk about my breakup is going to be what you heard at the beginning of today's episode and what I talked about on Keith and the Girl. I'm trying my best to respect Paige's privacy regarding what happened that weekend. I think that should stay between us for at least right now. Or at least most of it. So, yeah, Keith and the Girl. Like, a little sad, but like also super funny. And then Andrea Allen is there and she pops in and we kind of dive back into our history together, but with like with like a peanut gallery to offer their own commentary. Then I was also on this awesome podcast called Sex Talk with My Mom. Is the host Cam Potter and his mother Karen Lee Potter, and they've been doing a show almost as long as I've been doing my show, and they talk about sex, but it's just weird because like it's mother and son, and then next week you're gonna hear like part 2 of that conversation. We did like a half hour, 45 minutes for their podcast, and then we did like another 45 minutes for my podcast. So if you want to get a jump start on next week's episode, go listen to my episode of Sex Talk with My Mom. And links to those will, of course, be in the show notes. Now for this week's guest, David Piccolomini. This is a really fun one. Oh, David and I just really hit it off. Maybe we should date. Who knows? Probably not. It's he likes Cosmic Encounters or something, and it's just a really bad board game. David and I have known each other for several years. We met actually when I was doing a sex storytelling show called Bear, and he was on it as well.
And, oh, right. I'm totally forgetting the story. I'm just remembering it now. So a listener came to the show and she brought a friend. So after the show, her, me, and the friend were all talking. And then David showed up and started talking with us as well. Another listener had also came on her own. So she started joining and hanging out with us. And then out of fucking nowhere, he wasn't in the show, but he was in the bar. And all of a sudden, my friend Grant from like the poker world, he was there. So now all 6 of us are talking. And then, so the friend who brought a friend, the listener who brought a friend, her and I were very much tuned into each other. And it's like, we were going to touch each other soon. But then David and her friend like left the bar. So apparently they went home together. And then Grant ended up hooking up with the third girl, the other listener of the podcast. So, you know, the Man Or podcast really did some matchmaking that night, incidentally. So that was kind of fun. But so I've known David since then, and now he has his own sex and dating podcast. It's called Tinder Tales. It's all about online dating. I have actually been on the podcast myself. You can go back and find my episode in his feed. So I do encourage you all to check out his show. He's got some great guests on there. I hope you all enjoy this one because I genuinely enjoyed making this one. Let's get on over to me and David Piccolomini.
Someone you fucked. So like,
yeah. So for the special guests, you know, we just talk about. I mean, like, you know, if they're super interesting, you know, and they like are a wrestling fetish porn star, we talk about that. And if they're boring like you, then we talk about, you know,
just analytics on dating. Like,
yeah, just look. Well, this will be great. This is gonna
how
be
to manage 4 girls at the same time. God, that made me sound like a pimp. That's not what it was.
This is gonna be 2 straight dudes talking about how good they are at sex. It's gonna be great. It's gonna
great.
be awesome.
Yeah, perfect. That's
See, I wrote that down. 2 straight dudes talk about how good they are at sex, just to remind myself.
in case you forgot how good you were at sex.
Or to remind myself that we should like acknowledge that up top, so
Yeah,
people
no,
don't just
so
roll their eyes this whole time.
Like, I mean, it's that weird thing of like, I feel like if you set the goal for, because I feel like so many guys, and just a general cultural thing of like, oh, it's like tough to have sex with women, like you have to really know what you're doing, or like, but it's like, yes, but you have to, like, it's not unachievable for everyone can be good at sex.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're like a dude with a 2-inch dick that comes too quick, you could still be good at sex.
Yeah.
You just have to learn the other parts.
You're just not going to be great at penetrative, like P and the V sex, but you'll be great at other parts of sex.
You're just going to be very efficient at P and V sex.
Yeah, so I was just at the Sex Expo,
Yes.
and I was watching Reed Mahalko do his talk, and he's doing a talk about negotiating threesomes, but one of the lines he says, he was talking about why he gets laid so much because people come to him. They feel safe coming to him because they know he's slutty and they know he's open-minded, different things. He says most people don't give themselves permission to be creative about what sex is. So if sex to you is just that penis and vagina, then yes, that 2-inch dick that comes too quick, probably not going to be great sex.
Yeah.
But if you expand your mind to what
You
this
start
term
fucking the
sex
clit.
is,
Just start jamming your
I
dickhead
never
into
even
the
thought
clit.
about that. Yeah, that could be what sex. If you open your mind, sex could be like we're gonna massage each other with birthday cake and make out. Who knows? But if you open your mind,
Massage each other with birthday cake.
I have eaten birthday cake off someone's pussy though.
There you go. That's a great.
But it's like, yeah, if you open your mind to like what sex we define sex as, like you can become good at whatever that thing is that you decide it is.
Well, as long as both parties are achieving something fulfilling out of an intimate act involving your bodies,
right?
I think that's yeah. That's not to define sex for anyone.
Yeah,
because I mean, penis and vagina is probably or penis in something, like you put a penis in something is like the most standard version of sex, I guess, for straight people. But I'm really trying to like negotiate around like
all
set
the
a
terms?
base. Yeah, set a base
Are you
definition.
trying to not get tweeted at? Is that what you're?
No, please tweet it. Please tell me I'm wrong. Like I can't tell the difference between good and bad attention, and in turn, it makes it so that I learn things.
Oh, be careful with that because then you get into some big trouble like me. So
Well,
with
yeah.
the negative attention. There is negative attention, David.
No, I know there is, but I can't feel the difference.
Yeah.
I'm just like, people are looking at me. This is great.
Well, let's look at you. Right now I'm sitting down with my friend and fellow stand-up comedian David Piccolomini.
Hello.
Attempt to spell that one, everybody.
Yeah. I look. I have it on my Twitter in 2 different ways. So if someone spells it wrong, it shows up still.
Oh, very good. What, is like your handle one, but your name is the other?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crafty.
Look,
you
I'm-
should work in SEO.
Apparently, I'm going to plug my podcast already. But someone was telling me yesterday that they recorded an episode of my podcast, Tinder Tales, which is all about online dating. They recorded an episode, and apparently, when you search his name, it's the first thing that pops up.
When you search whose name? His name.
Yeah, when you
The-
search
the
his
comedians?
name.
Are they saying anonymous? Can we
Oh no,
ask-
Courtney Fearington.
There
I
we
can
go.
tell it. Yeah. The live episode will be out soon. But he was like, yeah, so apparently girls like will Google him, and that's the first thing they see about him. And they listen to an episode where he like talks about his anxiety and all his date ideas.
But that's good because that's endearing. They're hearing like a
Oh, I mean-
vulnerable part. Whereas in me, you search me, you just see the word whore over and over and over, and then it's on like a real estate billboard, and then it's whore some more. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone that I like, everybody that I've dated recently has like Googled me, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Tinder Tales," and I'm like, "Yep." Well, you wanted to still go out with me, right? That means I was good at
Yeah.
online dating.
Yeah. Well, you were also on the last week's oral auditions.
Yes,
episode,
I was. I was on the oral auditions episode,
which was a hit. People really dug it.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's like it's a very cool idea.
And you were suitor number 3.
Yeah. I
all-
feel like I didn't realize you were bringing in a ringer because I listened to the episode. If you bring in a ringer first, yeah, we're all just going to look like
Well,
good.
I didn't know he was going to be first. Someone actually, the person before, he was supposed to be second, and then the first guy canceled,
Oh.
and then ended up rescheduling, and he ended up being the last guy.
Gotcha.
So I didn't.
Oh,
mean
so
to
he
have
was
him go
nervous the whole
first.
time.
Who?
The first guy turned last guy.
Oh, Chris. Yeah. No, he thought he wasn't going to be able to make it, and I said no. The timing works. Come later. But Jim, Porno Jim.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be second, but I didn't mean for him to go first, but he did set the
He set the bar super high. Well, it's like I heard, I was like, oh, I'm dealing with a professional.
a professional pussy eater,
Yeah, I'm a great amateur.
a rising talent.
Yeah.
Someone in an industry room is like, hey, who's some of the rising talent in cunnilingus these days? Who's really up and coming?
He's got a good heart. Good.
He's good heart. He's
Although-
got really tight in the act, but
Yeah. What was crazy is that she was like, yeah, it's okay if you're dating a smoker. And I'm like, what tipped you off to me being a smoker? But I don't smoke.
that was so funny when you texted me that.
Yeah, because I don't smoke at all. This is like, listen to the last episode or the episode a couple before or whatever.
Yeah, no, it will be the one right before this one.
Okay, great.
And yeah, no.
But it was, I don't like, but part of, like I said that in the last episode, but I want to dispel the idea that like making a woman come is like some like crazy, like intricate act you have to learn with like dance moves and like whatever. Like you have to like memorize a code. It's the Konami code over and
It's
over
easier
again.
than DDR, is what you're saying.
Yes. Because I have never been good at DDR.
Oh, I lost 40 pounds playing Dance Dance Revolution. in high school. That and like starving myself, but like I like to think it was the Dance Dance
It was the
Revolution.
DD. I'm just picturing like little gothy you, just being like,
What makes you think I was gothy?
you're playing a lot of DDR.
I was playing DDR because I was a loser. I was not gothy.
Sorry, those were the same people at my high school.
But sorry, you were saying you wanted to dispel the myth.
Oh,
that,
so like because it's that thing of like if you listen, and especially like Roxanne in the last episode, she was very much like, "Hey, do this," and it's like, cool. If you tell me to do that, you do that, and it's great.
yeah,
And it's like people know how to get themselves off. So they've been doing it for a long time.
yeah, that's amazing. So something you touched on was that like you were young and you wanted to be good at sex because you were like a smaller guy.
It's not
Right.
even like a dick thing. It's literally like a.
No, not dick smaller. I mean, you
but
were
like,
your
I
stature.
was well, so,
You were a
throughout
smaller man.
high school. Yeah, I grew up homeschool co-op Baptist.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
I went to a homeschool. So I was homeschooled 2 days a week, and then I went
You know
to
what's
a
funny is I know what two of those three things are.
Baptist and homeschool.
Yeah, what the I still don't
Co-op.
understand. Yeah, I still don't understand what a
Co-op,
co-op
I'll
is.
explain. Don't worry. It's an insanity thing. It's a cult. So I go I would be home 2 days a week, and I would go to a Baptist church 3 days a week where other people's moms would teach all the kids.
Okay.
Like my mom taught like the 4-year-olds, and then like I was taught by like a Spanish teacher who was like someone else's mom.
Madre.
It was yeah. Thank you.
I'm so broken inside.
Madre, like Spanish. So I got taught and it was like looking back at it, it's insanity what it was. It was just like this thing, like the way I learned about what a blowjob was is because Bill Clinton got one and he's a bad guy. That's all I knew about it. And it was just like, oh, you can't get those, especially not outside of marriage.
Right.
It was real gross. And then I went to a public high school, but I was 4'7" and like 70 pounds. So I became like just like a desexualized like thing that just is there.
You were an appendix in like any friend circle.
Yeah, I eventually just
Were you funny? Were you the funny guy?
no.
No?
I was.
What
I was
was your
annoying.
worth?
Annoying.
What value did you provide to the youths?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Okay,
No.
so I hung out originally with the stoners, who I didn't even realize were stoners at the time.
They were the ones who let you hang out?
Yeah, they felt so bad. I was so weird and like innocent. They wouldn't let me get high with them.
Ah, yeah.
They were just like, I can't let like this like boy child get high.
Right. The 16-year-old's like, we can't let this bright-eyed 15-year-old get high. Come on.
But I
we
looked
gotta
like
be
an 8-year
responsible juniors.
I looked like an 8-year-old, and that was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I was so like 4'7". I was like a tiny, like people thought I was someone else's kid that just was there.
Right.
Like a teacher's kid that didn't start school on time.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of carried with me, and I was also weird, so I didn't know how to like be like, nah, I fuck ladies.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Right.
No, but I didn't know how to like I feel like high school is just posturing. Everybody at high school is just like, oh, yeah, I know what vaginas are. I'm ready.
Vaginas.
I'm ready for that. Like, I feel like that's all it is.
Yeah.
High school, it's just a bunch of people. Like, no one's good at sex in high school.
No.
Or if they are, they probably were abused.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What, you've never had sex with someone where you're like, oh, you probably had a rough family upbringing.
Yeah. Wait, so you had this theory where you were like, if I get good at sex.
Oh, so yeah, right. That was the whole point of that. So I was like completely desexualized throughout high school, and into college, like I started like doing a little bit of stuff. Like 19 was when I first had sex, but then that was with a girlfriend, and then we broke up, and I'm like, well, I'm like weird and like awkward, and like people are and like not like super handsome. So if people are gonna want to fuck me again, like I have to be really good at this.
Right.
So I kind of made it like a mission. I was like, yeah, just get good at sex. There's no reason not to.
Uh-huh.
You treat it like a skill, and you can do it.
Right. There's no reason not to take your vitamins. Just do that.
Yeah, absolute vitamin D. All right.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Whatever. You made a madre joke.
That was very well placed. It's very subtle.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing with all of that is like.
So do you get your like self-worth from how good you are at sex, or at the time did you?
I definitely get some of it from it. It's a weird thing, like knowing that. I mean, unless every woman is faking with me, which I'm sure some are. Sure. Absolutely. Like, because no one knows how to talk about that in a way that's like, because I've also had people who are like, I normally don't come and I'm probably not going to with you, but I still enjoy the act of sex.
Right.
And I'm like, great, I'm going to really try. But if that's your normal, then I'm not mad at you for that.
Yeah. But I don't know, like sometimes I have to, if they don't do that for me, I almost have to like I have to almost like build the space for them to be able to say that. I have to be like, hey, by the way, like I just have to, don't fake. Like, come on. I almost tell them, don't do that. It's fine. My ego's not gonna be broken. I don't do it like that just now.
No, that would be weird if you're like, by the way, if you fake, you have to tell me. That's just, it's like being a cop. You have to tell me.
Yeah, no, but like I like to try to let them know that like my ego's not gonna be damaged if they don't come.
Exactly.
And if they don't come, it's also fine. I don't like. they may think it's fine, but I want them to know I think it's fine too, and that the only thing that's not fine if like it's just not fun or it doesn't feel good, in which case they should tell me.
Absolutely.
And
I mean,
try to
sometimes
fix
like
it.
I fake sometimes. Like I'm just like, have you faked?
I've faked on rare occasions.
Sometimes it's just like I'm hard, but I'm not gonna get there. I'm not mentally in the right space.
Yeah, and sometimes I know I'm going soft, and I'm like, you know what, like if I like pretend to come now, and usually it's been when I'm like really self-conscious with a particular person. I also don't think I faked an orgasm in like at least a couple years. I think like before my relationship, but yeah.
What was the with the not like? And sometimes you're just like, I'm not gonna come this time.
No, usually like if I fake it, it's usually because like it was like I was not going to be able to maintain the erection.
Gotcha.
So I was like, oh, but if I came, then it's cool to go soft.
That's fair.
But
no,
that's
I
like
get
24, 25-year-old thinking. Now I'm like such a mature 28-year-old. Excuse you. Now I know how to say I'm good.
It was funny. I've definitely faked in both directions. Where I had a condom on, I came too early, and I was like, "Sex is not done," and then I just kind of pushed through it.
But you're not supposed to do that, right? That makes the condom less effective.
I did not know that.
No big deal, everyone. I've been featured twice on Savage Lovecast, anonymously, no name. But I had called in and I had asked a question because a lot of times he'll say, about the effective, and it's like 99% effective when used properly. You'd always throw in that caveat, when used correctly. And I was like, all right, I think I know what using correctly means. Can you give us examples of what using a condom incorrectly means? Because I'm not sure. And one of the things was when you ejaculate, you're not supposed to keep pumping because then you could start forcing
semen around,
the semen up the shaft and then out the tip, and then it could seep out that way. Or you could burst the tip of the condom if everything is in the right way.
Yeah.
Right. So when you come, you're not supposed to like really keep thrusting a lot.
Fair.
As much as she would want to. So a lot of times if I can tell she really needs me to keep it's, sometimes women go like, fuck, do not stop. Do not stop, right?
Yeah.
And if I come and I'm in a condom, and it's one of those, like I will do my best to very quickly replace with the finger to keep that going.
That's smart. That's much smarter than what I apparently.
Because at that point she doesn't care about that it's a dick or not. She's like, whatever that is, that motion needs to continue.
Keep pressing in this way.
Yeah. And keep like thrusting. Yeah.
Because I've definitely I've came and then kept fucking and then
not good idea.
Now I know that. Now I
know.
know. But then I'll have to fake afterwards.
Yes, you got to fake afterwards.
I'm like, no, I just came too. Weird. I guess we both are soulmates. We came at the same time.
Do you stay hard after you come?
I can. Also, I've got a pretty good. So if it shrinks an inch or two, no one can tell.
Oh, sorry, Mr. fucking hungcock Piccolomini over here.
I don't it's dumb, but it's dumb. I think the fact that one, you can't say that you have a big dick, or else it sounds like you're like you're lying.
David, are you trying to tell us something?
But also who gives a fuck? There are plenty of people
Clearly, you give a fuck. You still haven't said anything.
Oh, no, I have a big dick. I have an 8-inch dick. I don't care. I just don't, I hate the whole thing of, that it's, attached to some point of pride. Because it's
But you are proud of it. You don't like that it's attached to pride as a concept, but, you specifically are proud.
See,
there you
it's
go.
dumb. It's dumb.
It's dumb.
It's 100% dumb. That's the point. But also, you could do I assume with angles and positions, it doesn't matter how big your dick is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You're right. I don't know. I'm coming from big dick privilege right now.
Big dick privilege. That's going in the notebook. Big dick. That might be the title. Big dick privilege.
Great. That's what I need. You know what? I did need this face associated with big dick privilege.
Yeah.
Really, I just like the idea of guys being like, you need to check your privilege. Not all of us can reach that spot.
Someone today, I was in one of the workshops at the Sex Expo, was about fat sex, and I thought it was a great thing. It was
Laura, super fascinating.
Laura Delarado, I think her name is. I may have fucked that up. But someone asked in the audience a question, and she said the phrase thin privilege. I was like, oh, okay, now you lost me. This adjective hyphenate privilege craze sometimes goes really, okay, fine, but also really,
I totally.
Every new phrase, every new term.
Well, it's acknowledged.
Cue eye rolls from my audience.
By all intents and purposes, I should be fat. Like, there's nothing about me that's like putting myself, like, if my...
Because you eat like shit?
Yeah, I
Don't
eat like
exercise?
shit. I don't exercise.
So can I resent you? Am I allowed to hate you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
But
awesome.
look, this is me acknowledging my thin privilege right now, and you hate me over it, and you're wrong again. So there.
SJW logic for you. Hello.
But yeah, so, like, I mean, by all, like, I should be gross. There's like, that was mean.
When did you realize you had a big dick?
It was like after like 4 or 5 girls went, whoa.
Okay.
Because I'm like a small body. So even like
An average dick would look big on you.
yes.
Yeah.
But like a larger, like, it was literally one of those things where they were just like, what? Like, it was like not like,
There's also, and that actually the same exact reaction comes when it's a very tall man with a very, very small dick.
yeah, they're
same
like,
reaction. They go, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's that weird thing. So they were, it was just like, but I don't know. I've had sex with enough people that it's like, you can get a sample size.
Sure.
I mean, I did get one time for Christmas last year, a girl took a text. She sent a love letter text to my dick. And I was like, I'm getting this framed as a joke. But then she took that text and the text of me saying I'm getting this framed and printed it out and framed it and gave it to me for Christmas.
Nice. I like that.
So like, I like at a certain point, it's like it's not like, listen, fellas, I'm the best. It's like, I just have a bigger one.
Okay. This week's episode of the Man Whore Podcast is brought to you by the Motor Bunny. Oh, my favorite sex toy that I own. The Motor Bunny is this ride-on-top vibrator. It's basically a boat engine with a dildo on top of it, or a grinding pad, whichever attachment you want to put on the thing. And it is intense, people. Holy crap. You've heard me talk about the Motor Bunny before on this podcast many a time, okay? But now the Motor Bunny has a brand new update that they asked me to tell you about. The Motor Bunny now comes with teledildonics. Oh, yeah. You can now sync up your Motor Bunny with their new remote control and then have your friend download the app, like abroad. So let's say you got a lover in California and you live in New York City, you can have them download the Motor Bunny app and you can say, hey, at 9 p.m., turn on the Motor Bunny and fuck me with it through the app. And they can do that. Just make sure, you adjust your time zones and you clarify if it's 9 p.m. Eastern or Pacific or Mountain or Central, Really cool update, a really fun addition to an already fantastic toy. And you can get $50 off your very own Motor Bunny if you go to motorbunny.com and use the promo code MANWHORE at checkout. The other thing I love about the Motor Bunny is you can finance it. Yeah, I finance my laptop, I finance my iPhone, and now you can finance your sex toy. Isn't that fantastic? Again, go to motorbunny.com, use the promo code MANWHORE for $50 off at checkout. I've talked to a lot of people who are interested in sports betting, but they're really afraid of losing money. So my sponsor this week, mybookie.ag, is giving you a deal that almost guarantees you a win. They are offering a 100% deposit bonus for all of my listeners who sign up using the promo code MANWHORE when they do their first deposit. So if you deposit $50, $100, $1,000, they will match your initial deposit. So you basically start off with a win. So even if you make that first bet and you lose, you're still up. Head on over to mybookie.ag today. Use the promo code MANWHORE when you make your first deposit, and you can be a winner today. Now let's get back to the show. And where do you lack in life? Now that we all dislike you.
Yeah, great. I chronically, I'm very depressed. Good. Yeah.
Good.
I deal with that all the time. I'm pretty angry. Part of the reason I liked online dating so much is because I never learned how to approach people well, in high school or college. I just didn't learn how to do that. So I have a lot of social anxiety. All the time.
Do you get that? Does that carry over to sex bar? Do you go to sex parties or no?
I haven't been.
No, okay. Because the social anxiety that I also have, say at a normal party, 100% crosses over to the sex party. And
that's like you can't get us drunk.
It has nothing to do with the sex part. It's just these
Like,
are people.
Are you
I don't
gonna
care if it's
reject me?
Dungeons and Dragons or an orgy. I'm gonna be nervous. That's a group of people that I'm not all best friends with.
Yeah, exactly. It's that weird thing where you're like, I would imagine in order, I'd be like, I don't know if like I'm still sitting there on my phone, like I don't know where to put it in my pocket.
I have to put my phone in the bag, otherwise I will. Because the one time I did keep my phone on me, I did find myself every once in a while going on my phone like, no, Bill, you're at a fucking orgy.
You're at a sex party.
At minimum, you have live porn all around you. How dare you take your phone out to check Twitter? You have no new notifications. Stop pretending.
I'm surprised they let you keep your phones and like because
they say no taking pictures and whatnot.
Well, obviously,
even if it's of yourself, they're like just don't take pictures.
Yeah.
So, but you don't see a lot of phones out at least at Hacienda. I don't see a lot of phones out.
No, it's someone with like a belt, like they're naked except for a belt in their holster with their phone in it.
Burner belts, yeah. I mean, those are common. The burner belts.
Really?
So when I do see phones, I mean, that's not weird to be there. They'll have a phone. They have lube. They have condoms. They have gloves. One girl has balloons.
What?
She's big on balloons. She's a balloon gal.
Shout outs to Balloon Girl.
We like balloon gal. She's good people. But yeah. So,
That's awesome.
So you did the oral.
Also, I'm a huge nerd and like just a weird person who like. I realized recently I've sent. I never send a dick pic unasked for. Like I'm very big. Like I have no problem with them. But if you want to see it, just ask.
Sure.
Hear that? Tweet at me. No, but I will unprompted send a bunch of board game pictures to people. I said unsolicited board game pics, which is just to show off my massive throbbing board game collection of like 40 games.
Ugh.
And
Who's turned on right now? Everyone?
I think that's way grosser.
Ugh.
Whatever. You play Settlers of Catan like an amateur.
Whatever. I'm stepping my game up to play Risk.
Oh,
I've never played before, but I know I'm gonna win.
Risk is not great either.
No?
No, it's a bunch of dice.
Oh, well,
rolling
you want me to
random.
play that fucking weird space game that took up 3 hours I'll never get back?
Cosmic Encounter was great. I was with James Adomian. What do you?
Yeah, and James Adomian also didn't like it. James Adomian had the courage to leave.
That's fair.
And that was the only moment when I also felt like I could leave because, like, well, the guy who's been on Comedy Central kicked it in after an hour and a half, and then I was like, I'll never get that. That ruined that Thanksgiving for me.
Oh,
I
it did
showed up
not
at the
ruin that Thanksgiving.
I showed up at the Creek in the Cave, which is a comedy place community in the city, and they had like they closed the place down and have a big Thanksgiving Day party. And I wasn't talking to my family, so I went there. And I was like, okay, I'll go see comics. I'll be like around people. And you got me, oh, we're going to play a game. I was like, oh, great. How long? I was like a half hour. He's like, yeah, an hour tops. Fucking like almost 3 hours later.
I forget
Still
that if you play.
playing.
I forget if you play with people who aren't good, it takes longer.
Or, yeah, it's a complicated, weird fucking. What's the board? Give it a shot. What's the
Cosmic
name?
Encounter. It's one of the best games of all time.
It's not one of the
It
best
is.
games.
It's
of all time.
100%.
Not even close.
It's been around since the 70s.
That doesn't make it good.
No, but it's outlasted.
Racism has been around longer, and it's worse.
Yeah, Risk has been around longer and it's worse. But also, like, that's
Saying it's been around since the 70s doesn't make it great.
no, but well,
Roger
no,
Stone has been around since the 70s, and look what he did.
yeah, but so was I don't know someone good. Gandhi was around in the 70s, right?
No,
when was Gandhi alive?
Gandhi was like the imperial age, like back when we had like empires.
Yeah, that's fair.
That was like back like before World War One.
Was he before?
Yeah, because like he was part of like the resistance that helped the English like not make India a colony.
Yeah, you're right. That makes sense. Okay, fact proven. I'm sure other good people are alive in the 70s.
And so like 3 hours later, the place is packed. They have football on. I go in to play this game in this like office, and then 3 hours later, I think somebody won, or we all quit.
I won,
Oh yeah,
but-
you won. Oh, wonderful. And then I go out and like there's maybe 12 people in the whole place, and the football's over.
I was pretty drunk at that point.
And my Thanksgiving was ruined.
Oh, it was a look. You just don't understand the joys of Cosmic Encounter.
Clearly not.
Yeah.
So you had said last week during the oral auditions, you said that you literally Googled like how to
Yeah,
eat
and
pussy,
like,
right?
well, and so I just Googled it, and there's like a million articles about
because
it.
Porno Jim, he just recorded a bonus episode that people can hear on Patreon. he stumbled upon some book when he was 17 in like the library. Remember, he's old. Like
that was the internet back
our
then.
ages combined, right?
Yeah.
And he just found this like erotica book that's been out of print for forever, and that taught him how to be good at sex.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of those things. It's like if you just take the time and treat it like a skill, you can learn.
Yeah.
That's all it's
It's like chess, you know, memorize your opening moves, learn different techniques, learn different styles.
Adjust based on how they're going. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly like chess.
It's exactly like chess. And by that, I mean the homeless dudes in the park are the best at it.
Tuesday, oh man, I was gambling for 7 hours last night playing backgammon with those guys.
What?
Yeah, they also play backgammon. If you want a backgammon game in New York, you pretty much exclusively have to go to like Union Square.
Really? How much did you make any money or?
I beat one guy I ended up a point, but I had to pay that point to the guy whose board it was. Like, there's like, because like we were playing on someone else's board, so you have to like pay.
You have to like rent the board.
Kind of like you basically each pay a points, whatever you're playing for, you pay a point's worth.
So you won.
I basically I didn't make anything. I didn't lose anything.
That's pretty good.
The $5 I won had to go to him, but it was fine. Then I played another guy for like many hours, and I was up a point until the last 3 games, where out of nowhere he wins 27. He ends up 27 points.
I think you got hustled.
Anyways, yeah, that doesn't interest anybody about sex. Hey, so what did you think of the oral auditions? That thing? Because I asked you to do it. That's a weird request to ask.
So
I held back on asking you because I knew in my head, I knew I was going to ask Jim as the ringer. I was like, I should probably ask David, but I don't know. Like,
well, it's a weird request
because like I know you know.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing was, I saw the original thing and it was like 30 and up, and I'm like, I'm not 30, so.
And at the time, I only did that because the initial people who said they wanted to do it were all in their 20s, and I wanted some variety. But then all the dudes in their 20s fucking bailed. Because they're fucking lame.
Because they're in their 20s. Yeah, like they're.
So
like,
then I reached out to you because I was like, well, now that I could use some age diversity,
send in the kid. Yeah, send in the
kid stays in the picture.
Yeah, pussy tastes like apple juice. That's a Patton Oswalt quote about that book. Anyway,
what was your thoughts when I hit you up about it?
Like it was one of those things where like because I kind of had figured out that you were doing like because you said stuff.
I posted on Facebook.
Yeah, you posted on Facebook, and I was like. Honestly, my first thought was just like, all right, it's good that my brand works. Like I come off like I'm sex positive. I want like I really like fucking on a first date just because it's like, well, let's learn if we actually are into each other. If it's not just like, because I feel like as a dude, like a lot of time, like you'll have sex and you'll just be like, I came and now I know exactly how I feel about a person. Like whether it's good or bad, like sometimes you realize how much you like a person after you come, you realize how much you like a person as a dude.
Or something you said after you come, you become super truthful and honest, which I heard.
Yeah,
it didn't make the podcast, but when I was editing the moans, that phone was in there to record.
Yeah,
and so it has the entire encounter.
It has the whole thing,
including like your little bit of small talk. But I told everyone we're not going to use any small talk from inside the room.
That. Yeah, but I literally did say that. I was like, if you ever want a guy, they're most honest, make him come.
And I was thinking, like, why is that not an interrogation tactic? Why is that not CIA level interrogation?
Like you just have like a yeah, torture works, but if you make this guy come, like he'll all of a sudden, like especially if they're like in like some kind of terror, like where they're just all bent up sexual frustration.
Yeah.
Any terrorist, no matter religion, like white guy terrorism in the U.S., a lot of it, no one's ever been like, you know what, I'm getting laid too much. This has to stop. And brings out a gun.
Yeah. You know, and send them some sex workers. Let's get these girls some work, some legalized work.
Yeah,
let them do some good for their country as well.
I mean, if you if you got someone like who was a criminal guy and he had sex like 3 times a week. All of a sudden, he's going to tell that girl a lot of things he's not supposed to tell
brag, her. But yeah, that should be a new interrogation tactic.
Yeah, look, CIA, hire me.
Yeah.
I'm very bookable in the CIA.
I'm bookable. I've got avails. Except for this one night, I have a check spot I really want to do.
Yeah, I got a check spot at Broadway I have to do. But otherwise...
yeah, and so when you showed up to the apartment, was there any like...
It was really nice. Like I don't know, I don't go up to Harlem or not Harlem, the Bronx very often. Yeah. And it was a great apartment. It was just this cool little. Although it's so funny the amount that New York apartments look like they're like like The Shining on the outside. Like they have like that weird dilapidated feel everywhere, like in a murder scene. And then you open up the door, and every apartment's nice.
Yeah.
It's just the hallways are such garbage.
Oh, definitely. But like, was it weird to like know that like I was sitting there outside?
No, I don't think about it. Like
No?
when I'm like, especially it's like Billy's cool. He knows what's going on. He's got an intern. She knows what's going on. The only moment where it was a little strange was when I walked out and there was another dude there, and then I was
you
like,
knew him.
"What? No, I didn't know him."
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, you two didn't know each other because you're both comics.
Yeah, I found that out.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, there's like thousands of us. So it was that I went in and it was just like, oh, your turn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
I don't like for what it was. Like, I mean, I feel like it's like all that thing gone earlier. I don't know, like
Gone earlier.
because like literally as you hear her talk about it, she's just like she's just like, well, look, I got the one guy, like the one guy did 3 off the bat, and then she's just like, I'm like, this is a lot.
But you also followed the worst guy,
That's true.
which must have been helpful.
I guess. I don't know. Give her a break, but not really because you're just in your head getting tired. Like, if you ever had a blowjob where you're like, I'm not going to come from this.
Yeah, and then I stop it.
Right.
But also, I wasn't like mandated to keep getting it. For
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm
podcast.
saying. Like, so it's like an exhausting thing. And it's like, I like, I don't know. I feel like it's on the other side. It's such a, like with the guys coming and whatever, it's like, oh, it's easy. You just, guys will come at a moment's notice. Whatever. So it's like if you tell someone they're not going to do it, they're like, I didn't do the easiest thing. Like I've had people like I've had people be like, I'm not going to come. They just start trying harder, and I'm like, this is it. That's not what I meant.
What did anything like shock you or surprise you in listening to, whether it be your section or other people's?
I mean, the smoking thing was yeah. I think, I mean, that was the weirdest part. Also, it's just like a thing of like, because she was like, oh, I told him to do it. And I was like, I think I'm doing that. She kept saying right there. So I was like, I think I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the most part, no, I mean, sex is, it's just like wet parts rubbing on wet parts.
Oh, so romantic.
I mean, be romantic about it. I'm like a robot. That's the other
So
thing.
yeah, are you romantic? Because you're a polyamorous guy, right?
Yeah,
You're a polyamorous fella.
I don't know. I'm open to all type, like, because my last relationship was monogamous because that's what she wanted to be, and I really wanted to be with her at that moment.
And were you able to do that?
Well, so sort of.
Oh no.
She went to Europe for 3 months and was like, let's open up the relationship because she knew that I had done. I'm like, great, I know how to do that. You want to go fuck guys in Europe? Great. You should go. That should be part of your like
That should be on every European trip itinerary.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to go fuck people from another country. Like,
Yeah.
great. You're going to go to France? It's romantic as shit there. Go fuck other people.
Yeah.
And then I fucked other people here. And then when she came back, she had not fucked anyone.
Okay.
But I had fucked
Sure.
a bunch of people because it was like 3 months. Like,
Yeah.
and she was furious at it. Found out that her number wasn't actually 12. It was 4, including me.
What do you mean
Her, like, sex
What do you
number.
mean she realized her number was?
No, I realized. I
Oh.
found out.
Oh, she had lied to you?
She had lied.
She made herself sluttier to match you.
Well, not to match, but
Or sorry, to
like seem like it's not like I've only been with 3 people.
Oh my.
And
Most
it's-
ways, usually it's the other way around, right? Normally, women are trying to like make their numbers smaller.
Yeah, normally, but she made it bigger because she was like. But then it was that weird moment where it was like, oh, you've only fucked for love,
Right.
and that's like you never like when you say 12. I assume there's like a couple shitty guys like in there, and I think that's. But I was like, oh, you've only had sex with people you're like in love with,
Right.
and I didn't know that. I was like, I would never have agreed to an open relationship
Sure.
for 3 months if I had known that you were this way.
Ooh. And then how'd that play out?
That was it. That was pretty
That
much
was it?
it.
That
That
was
was pretty much. She shut down and it was done.
Okay. How long
Yeah.
were you all dating?
Like I at that point it was like 9 months, 9 months,
Sure.
or it was like 6 months of dating, and then she went, and then it was like 9 total.
So you're capable of monogamy.
I don't like it.
You're not, but you don't like it.
No, I like.
I mean,
can do
like
it-
by capable, I mean we're all physically capable. Like like in theory, like a heterosexual person is capable of doing homosexual acts and vice versa. But
Yeah.
like, do we like it?
who knows? Yeah,
Right.
like there's all that.
But-
But yeah, it's definitely not my preferred. Also, like I feel like I've become so much more emotionally aware of myself since doing polyamory. like you start expanding, you start learning, you start growing. My first polyamorous relationship was started off as a hookup with this. I LARPed for a while.
Oh yeah, you fucking
That like look
live
shit-
action role play. Hey pussies are wet.
They should be because LARPing's great. No, that's where I learned how to get laid. That's where I started getting laid was LARP events because it was a different place where I was at the top 25% of the bottom 25% of social people.
Top 25% of the bottom 25%.
Yeah, it's like it's a bunch of awkward nerds, and believe it or not, there are women who are also awkward nerds. So we're all just chatting, and then a friend of mine. So there was this woman I had been flirting with for like years, but she always had a boyfriend. And me at 19 was like, I'll just wait this out, and then we'll get together when you don't have a boyfriend, and we'll go out, and it'll be great. And then like 3-4 years, we would just flirt. It was fun. Like I was in other things. It wasn't like it was just like a consistent. It wasn't like I will wait for you, madam, on the peak, on the stoop.
Right.
It was just like, oh, we'd see each other, but she always seemed to be in a relationship. And then my friend got back from the military, who was a friend of mine from the LARP game, and we were drinking Ice 151 and eating what I learned after having 3 of them were pot cookies, which I'd never had before.
Okay.
So we're hanging out, we're just chatting and like getting real drunk in the middle of the day, and then all of a sudden, girl I have a crush on pops out, and the guy is like, "Oh, have you met my wife?" And I'm like, "That was quick. You just got back. Holy shit." But I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be like, that was fucking, how the fuck does that happen? And then we're cool, but I'm like, well, I guess that's over. And then another woman walks by, and my friend checks her out, and he's just like, you know what? Best part about being in an open marriage, I can have sex with other people. And then
It's a nice way. It's like a cute way of trying to like slip that in there. That was super unforced. Sure.
No, it was great. Like but he was just like, we're just drinking, hanging out. It wasn't
Yeah.
he wasn't telling me about his wife. He was telling me about that. Like, I can fuck that person if I want to. It's great.
Right, but you didn't know he was in an open marriage until he just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which
you
is
don't-
kind of a way of saying to you, hey, if you were flirting with my wife, like, don't let me stop you.
Maybe. I don't think it was that thought out for him.
Okay.
Because he literally he posts up for a high five after he says it, and his thought is like, I can have sex with strangers, and my first thought was, I'm gonna bang your wife, because that was the first. I was like, oh, she has been flirting with me this whole time, and then we would just start casually hooking up. But you know that like that moment where you're like casually with someone, but it's very sweet. Like, it's a very sweet thing, but like, so you have sex, and then like the moments in between the sex are like just as good, and then you have sex again. And, like, we would do that like all night. It was amazing. And then like we saw each other a bunch, and then the big week, there's a weekly event that happens. So we've been seeing each other like 6 months, and I'd always wanted to do mushrooms. I'd never done them before. And so she's like, well, I've done them. You can do them with me. It'll be sweet. So we do them, and it's amazing. And during that time, like, mushrooms are just poisoning yourself. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's why I never do them, because I can't get past that this like logical thing where it's like, yeah, but I'm poisoning myself in a very small dose. Like that,
You should try it. It might be good for you.
I can't
Billy.
get past that.
Like, don't
part
do
of
it now during a breakup. That's the worst time to do it.
gosh.
Last time I did it during a breakup, I was convinced that my girlfriend was an assassin trying to kill me. That's a different story.
Dude, I thought that sober, watching JFK falling asleep in the middle and waking up, and thought like, oh wait, I know too much.
Yeah, but you should try. I highly endorse. Well, so here's the crazy part of that. So it's like you're poisoning your body, but like a lot of like all your insecurities and anxieties just start to fade away, and like all this emotional. I was very emotionally not intolerant, inactive. I'm trying to think of the right word.
Sure.
Like unavailable. I was very emotionally unavailable for a very long time because I just got bullied the fuck out of me, and all that kind of faded away, and I was able to say I love you for the first time to a woman.
Wow.
Yeah,
To LARP chick?
yeah, that's her name, LARP chick. No,
Yeah,
know.
I assume you're not going to name her, so like I call
Yeah,
her LARP
no, that's
chick.
fair. Yeah, she values her privacy. She lives on a commune now, not a commune. She calls it the
A
commune.
co-op, a Baptist co-op cult.
No, it's her and her husband and her boyfriend all live together on this, like, they call it the commune, but that's just to be
What
tongue-in-cheek.
state is it in?
Michigan?
Okay, it's not the one I'm thinking of.
No. Now I've given enough details. If you know them,
There's
you
one
know
in North
them.
Carolina that like I hear is like prevalent.
No, but she's not like it's not a real commune. They just kind of live their life in that way, and it's really sweet. It's great. And like I still care, but it was like distance got in the way, and then like dating someone else who like you fall in love with, and not to say you can't love two people because I did, but when the one relationship goes bad because they're like it's really this other girl's fault, it's hard to keep everything like balanced.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
A little bit. I mean, I've never. I dated two women at the same time, but I didn't have two girlfriends at the same time. And as I would soon learn that was the beginning of the downfall.
Well, it's they met because I was like, "You guys, I love you and I love you. What could go wrong?" And it turns out if someone's new to polyamory, a lot can go wrong.
And even and even if they're not new to polyamory, like people keep going like, "How do you not get jealous?" It's like polyamorous people get jealous sometimes.
But it's all processing
But
because jealousy's insecurity manifesting.
True, and it's just about how you deal with it. And we're all prone to being human and making mistakes, and maybe not doing the
totally.
process properly. So I just wanted to say when you said like, if someone's new to poly, it's going to go wrong, and if they're not new to poly, that'll be great because
But it could also go wrong. Yeah, especially if not everybody's on the same level, but it's all like jealousy is all just managing insecurity. That's what I had to learn so much of like there have been women who are like, fine, I'll go fuck someone else, and I'm like as like a way to like make me jealous,
and I'd be like, that's not going to work on me.
Yeah, it turns
I'm gonna
out
just be happy for you.
Like, great, I'm glad you could do that. I practice compersion.
Yeah. Time for the fan whore appreciation moment. Oh yeah. This is the part of the podcast where I like to thank some of the members of my fan whore community on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, well, you're missing out. It's a great, fantastic way to support me and the work that I'm doing with this podcast. And some of these people supporting me right now are Daisy R, who's from what I can tell by the way she does puns in her Twitter handle, is a very naughty person. Get it? Not because she does kink and she's making knots with the ropes. Thank you so much for your pledge, darling. Also, thank you to a man I like to call Big Dick Derek in Philadelphia. And I call him that because of that. You know what I mean. Look, in the Champagne Room, which is our super secret Facebook group for the patrons, we have something called Flagpole Friday. It's the only post I try to actively avoid each week, but sometimes it pops up. And the thing I've learned about Derek is the man is packing. Thanks, buddy, for pledging and I guess sharing your cock with the world. Thank you to Charles A. Holy shit, I am so excited to meet you and your wife at ManWhoreCon. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you for being so incredibly generous and supportive, and for your exceptionally good taste in pens. Finally, shout out and thank you to the new guy, Clint W. Man, thank you for your pledge. Thank you for supporting independent content creators. And you too can join the club for as little as $1 per month. For that dollar, not only are you supporting me, but you also get access to bonus episodes of the Man Whore podcast and our super secret Facebook group, The Champagne Room. Become a member today by visiting patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. That's Patreon, patreon.com/manwhorepodcast. Now let's get back to me and David Piccolomini. That's not how you say his name. It's David Piccolomini. You have a podcast called Tinder Tales.
Tinder Tales, yeah, all about online dating.
But from a straight white dude, do we need another sex podcast with another one of you, me?
She's all right. This got very indicative real quick.
I kid.
No, I know. But well, the thing is, there's no online dating podcast.
True.
There's sex podcasts that will talk about online dating because it's impossible to ignore at this point. But there's nothing that focuses on that, and that's where, the braggy whatever, I get laid a lot. And it's because I got good at doing it from the internet. I learned how to make a profile that does it. That people think you have to create a perfect profile. It's no, you have to create a perfect profile for you.
Exactly.
Which
I can't. You can't make a David Piccolomini profile for someone else. it may, for some people maybe, but for other people, some people are like, oh, you got to make a funny page. If you're not funny,
It doesn't
don't
matter.
make a funny profile, because then you're going to sell funny. She's going to show up and you're going to be not funny. So don't be funny in your profile if you're not a funny person.
But what people feel like they need to sell themselves in a certain way. Like my profile is a little bit, but like on my profile, like especially Bumble right now is what I use the most. Bumble is great.
That's what I was using until we broke up, and now I don't want to see anybody.
Great, cool, Billy. We get it. You're sad.
Wait, what are you? Everyone commenting under my Facebook post?
No, I mean, look. I've been in codependent cycles, and they're not fun.
Yeah. No, sorry. So,
yeah, it's like going through cocaine withdrawal, except for a longer period of time.
yeah. But Tinder Tales.
so-
No podcasts tackle it. But do you find it interesting, or have you noticed that there really aren't? I can't name a lot outside of you, me, and maybe one other straight white dudes talking about sex in a sex positive way on the internet.
I don't know. I don't follow. I don't look for it though. But also, I don't see it.
You don't consume that stuff?
Well, I listen to some of it. I mean, like actually, there's I listen to mostly like comedy podcasts and stuff.
Okay.
And then like I listen to some stuff, and I read a lot of art because like I'm now friends with like sex therapists and like people
Right.
who are like sex writers and stuff. Like shout out to Gigi Engel. She's super great.
Oh yeah, I follow her on Twitter. She's great.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so she posts all sorts of stuff. So I always keep current. I keep reading about the stuff. But a lot of times with podcasts, I want something I can kind of turn my head off and laugh at.
I need to do more of that, but I keep getting caught up in the fucking world that we're in.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I find it interesting because, like, the sex world, like, guys who look or like us are typically on, like, here's how to get laid podcasts, right? But,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That's not what either of us do.
No, well,
you know,
I
which
mean,
is-
mine's partially, but it's
ours have the, like, outcome of that. Like, you can learn that from us, but I don't feel like that's the purpose.
no.
You know what I mean?
Mine's like I like part of mine is like I think women make better guests on my podcast.
Sure.
In general, because they have more experience with like the weirder dating stuff. Because like a lot of times guys don't even they're so inside their head they don't even realize they're fucking up. Because they're just like, what? I just did what I always do that works 3% of the time. But they've sent that out to the other 7% of women are like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Who would do something like this?
But you're not, like, a pickup artist or anything.
No, God, no. Absolutely not.
Right. But did you fall down that rabbit hole at all in your youth because you were this googly, trying to be good with women guy?
I mean, in my youth, like, okay, so here's what I'll say.
Because if you search, how do I be good with women,
Yeah,
pickup
artist
artists
shit.
will show up.
So the thing people don't understand about the game is it's done by a guy who's not a pickup artist.
Right. He was just like,
He was just a
following the
weird,
world.
he was a nerdy guy who went into the world, got in too deep, and then got out of it. The beginning of the book is literally the pickup artist who he admires.
Yeah.
Is a guy who's like threatening to kill himself because he's so deeply depressed and upset.
Right.
Because there's nothing in it. I feel like pickup artists, like they have some good advice if you just want to learn how to be a more engaging speaker and learn how to talk to people in an engaging way. I'm not talking about negging. I'm talking about other things. Like just like the best ways to make eye contact and like just like stuff like that where it's like, hey, make sure when you're saying certain things you're making eye contact.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'll come off as disingenuous. It's basic social psychology stuff.
Yeah.
But also, they always forget the last key part in any pickup art. It's always like, okay, do this, do this. But also remember that like she's a person, and they always forget to add that part, and that's the most important part.
Exactly.
Is like also you're talking to human beings with thoughts and feelings who like are like care about things, and so if you just try and like be like, I'm gonna fuck, like it doesn't do anything for you. Like you just. I feel like you need to get laid, like you need to have sex with like 30 different people, and then you just realize none of that worked. You're just like, oh, now it's empty.
Right.
I feel because like for dudes, I don't know. Like I threw out a number like 30, but like once you hit a certain point, you just start realizing like, oh, this is fun, but like if it sucks being around that person all the other time, then we shouldn't be. It doesn't matter about that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm a weird romantic. I'm
A robot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
As you said.
romantic robot. I'm very pragmatic. I'm like, if 1 = 1, then it is love.
What's something interesting you've learned from doing Tinder Tales?
Oh man, I mean, just like I feel like we everybody knows it, but the amount of like people who are just awful at online dating is insane. Like it's amazing. Like that you just like they exist all the time everywhere, and they just have no idea how to use it. I learned a lot about like all the different types of dating apps. Because it's like, if you've got a thing, there's someone else who has that thing, and there might be a website about it.
Right.
I did a game on the live episode I just did yesterday, where I made up like I made up 6 dating sites, and I had 6 real ones, and you had to guess which one was the real one.
Oh, I love that. What should I ask? Like for 1 or 2 of the fake ones, or 1 or 2 of the real ones? Or
I
should
can
they
give you.
just
I give
listen?
you.
They
You
should just
could,
listen
yeah,
to the-
but like there was one that was a matchup of it was it was like diaperpersonals.com.
Oh gosh.
Diapermates.com. That's what it was. Or HIVokWithMe.com. Take a guess.
The diaper babies is fake.
Nope. Other way. You thought HIV okay with me is real?
I was kind of hoping so. I don't know.
Yeah, but like we play games like that, and like so you learn like it's just so much deeper in that. And I mean, like I'm sure if I listened to the first couple episodes of me doing the podcast, I'd be like, wow, you had a lot to learn.
Right.
But now, like that, I've done so much like of it. Like, there's so many stuff. Like, always be asking questions. That's like because that's. I mean, that's just in general. People want to talk about themselves. That's like what being a good podcast. Just ask them a bunch of questions and let them talk.
Yeah. I'm learning how to do it.
Yeah.
Although like my guests are like 50-50 because sometimes like they're like, I don't know how to talk on a microphone. I'm like, okay, I'm going to carry the weight here.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
And then other times they're great at it, but I just like interrupt them because I'm an ass.
Yeah. Listen, I don't think
That's
my
what-
voice is being heard.
Yeah, yeah. Whose fucking show is this? But I have over the years learned to like shut up a little bit.
Yeah,
more
you just
often.
you kind of relax into it. If they're enthused about something, you can tell that kind of stuff.
Or like if they're about to cry, Billy, maybe don't fucking say something dumb in the middle. Let them have their emotional moment. That happened once. That was like an early episode. It was like episode 14. She's like starting to tear up, and I forget. I said something. It wasn't like dumb. I don't think I was trying to be funny, but like I interrupted what was clearly her starting to
like a very personal moment.
Yeah, and I was listening to it while I was editing, just shouting into the ether. Billy, shut the fuck up.
Stop it! Stop it! Let her have this.
Just let her talk. Yeah, man. Well, Dave, thanks for coming on. This is great.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, you came on twice in 1 month or twice.
Great.
Yeah,
Look, you know,
Fantastic.
like if I can, I try and come twice.
Nice. People can find the Tinder Tales podcast.
TinderTalesPod.com, Tinder Tales podcast on Facebook, iTunes, Tinder Tales on iTunes. Also,
Excuse you. We call it Apple Podcasts now.
okay.
Be politically correct, okay?
I'm sorry, I misidentified an app. But also at Piccolomini on Twitter. Tell me what you hated. Tell me what you
Do you want to
liked.
spell that for them?
Piccolomini or Piccolomeny.
And I will have a link for that in the show notes.
I
Don't y'all
appreciate
worry.
it. Yeah. Also, I run a bunch of shows, but Ambush Comedy every week at Two Boots in Williamsburg. We give away free beer from 8 to 8:30.
Nice.
And then 8:30 to 10, it's an awesome show.
Oh, that sounds like a really fun deal.
Yeah, it's really great. We get people from like Conan and Last Comic Standing and
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah. Okay. That's all my plugs.
Well, Dave, thanks for coming on. Why don't you say goodbye to everybody?
Oh, goodbye, everybody.
Oh, that was a really fun one. Definitely check out David's podcast, Tinder Tales, on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen to this show. And if you want a good episode to start with, you can always start with mine. October, I'm not going to go through the usual plugs that I do at the end of every episode because ManwhoreCon is fast approaching, and I really want to see some of you there. We've got a great group of listeners coming on out. It's going to be a party, and you're going to want to be a part of it. Take another look at your finances. Take another look at your paid time off of work. Take another look at your vacation schedule. And if you can, decide to make a trip to New York City for a fun weekend with yours truly. Tickets to ManwhoreCon are still available at manwhorepod.com/tickets. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. The slate is finally full. We know what we're doing. It's going to be a blast. If you can't make the whole weekend, but you can come down for a day, October 8th, I really, really want to see y'all pack out the People's Improv Theater for Manwhore Podcast Live. Okay? This is my first time doing a live podcast. I could really use your support, really more than anything else I've ever asked you to do. So please tell your friends, bring a group of people. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be sex toy giveaways. You're going to see me embarrass myself with 4 of my exes. And we're going to also do something I like to call the Motor Bunny Challenge, which I can't tell you about until you get to the show. Tickets for just the live podcast are available at manwhorepod.com/live. If you are attending ManwhoreCon, guess what? Your weekend pass includes admission to the live show. And all those people who attend the live podcast get a complimentary glass of wine from our sponsor at Wink. Just to tell you a couple things about Wink. Wink is a wine subscription company. You take a little test online, and based off of your answers, they pair and match you with wines, which is perfect for a guy like me because I don't know shit about wine. I know I like drinking wine, but I don't know anything about them. I don't know how to pick wine. So Wink takes the guesswork out of it for you, and they pick wines to match your taste palette. And they're offering you $20 off your first month if you go to trywink.com/manwhore. It's a little tricky spelling. It's trywinc.com/manwhore. Give it a try. What do you got to lose? They're giving you $20 off, okay? Enjoy yourselves next week. We got Cam Potter and Karen Lee Potter, the co-hosts of Sex Talk with My Mom. This week I've got Ithaca and Chocolate and Getting Over My Ex. And but for you all, I'm sure you got fun things planned. So do them and stay slutty.